Hey guys, Ben Quintero, Honeydew Homestead. I wanted to bring you guys along for a project that I'll be starting today. Who knows, it might be a series. It probably will be a series because there's a lot of different things that need to get done. I don't know how much work I'm going to be able to do because my hands are already cold and it's a build project. Maybe there's a heated workshop in my future. That would be nice. That would be very nice. Alright. So, like I said, it's going to be a build project. You might already know what this is. If you're a follower of my channel, then you'll know I gave you kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes of what I'm going to be starting today. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to try to use as much daylight as I can, use as much of that solar heat as I can, and we'll see how far we can get on this project. Sounds good, right? I like the winter. I just wish it was a little warmer. If that makes any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Come on, Ben. This makes sense. Alright, it looks like VoiceOver Ben's gonna have to take over a little bit here. Obviously, it was a little too cold for Camera Ben to say everything that he wanted to say. And so, I just want to tell you a little bit about what's going on right now. The first thing I'm trying to do is cut the basic shape of the box. I want to be able to cut the floor, the bottom piece, which is going to be about 6.5 by 6.5. And I talked a little bit about this in my previous video about why I chose those dimensions. Mainly, that's a perfect size to fit the controller and fit the batteries in those dimensions. Next, I wanted to move on and cut the sides. Sometimes when I'm cutting pieces that I know are going to have a sharp angle on them, I find it easier to first cut them square. Especially when I need two identical sides like I do here, where the front and back and bottom are going to be square, but then the top is going to be cut at an angle where the roof will rest on that. So first, I'm cutting these to the square dimensions that I need, basically the maximum height and the maximum width. In this case, keep in mind that the inside space is going to be 6.5 by 6.5, roughly. This material that I'm using is a 5/8 underlayment plywood, basically. So I have to take into account that 5/8 and extend my material 5/8 of an inch beyond that 6.5 inch interior spacing. And the reason for that, remember, is that I also need to be able to fit the back of this box as well. And the back of the box will be of that same material, which is 5/8 of an inch. Yeah, I know. I really need to sharpen my miter saw or get new blades for it. I want to say this is the original blade. It's long overdue. So the final width came out to be somewhere around 7 1/8. That would be the 6.5 plus 5/8. I find it easier sometimes to measure with the material that I'm using instead of using a measuring tape and cutting to that dimension. Because if you're off even by a 1/16 of an inch, then things start to get a little out of square quickly. So if you tend to use the material that you're going to be shaping your box to, for example, the floor being the first little piece of board that I cut, I base everything else off of that. So even if I was aiming for 6.5 and it came out to 6 5/8 or 6 3/8, then all of my other material isn't going to be off by 1/8 of an inch. Everything will just eventually mold itself to those new dimensions. Today's a new day. It's a little warmer today. I made some mistakes in the last segment. I'm probably going to splice all of this together in a single video. We'll see. But some mistakes were made. You might have noticed when I was putting the frame together that I made the frame equal dimensions all the way around, which I totally could still use it that way. But if you remember from my previous behind the scenes video where I talked about the plans for this, I wanted to have about a 3.5 inch trim across the top, and that way I could reserve space just in case down the road I wanted to put a little push button light or maybe some kind of dawn to dusk kind of light that was all wired in with the solar. And so I'm gonna have to cut the frame, re-glue it. It's a setback, but it's not the end of the world. I'm only telling you this, I could have hidden it, but I'm always, as always, I'm being real with you guys, and I want to show you the reality that mistakes get made, and it's not the end of the world. You can fix them, you can move on. I make those mistakes too, all the time, but we're gonna make it right. We're gonna do that right now. Let's get back to work.